Hello Exiles, this is Fusion Gaming and welcome to my series on how to navigate the acts faster. Now today we are going to go through the final act, the Act 10, which is probably the fastest act of any of the ones that you would have been through previously. There is only around about 7 or 8 zones if I remember rightly off the top of my head. So we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 8 zones in total. So we're going to run through this and try and see if we can get it done in less than around about 12 minutes. Let's see what we can do. So first things first, when you are in the Act Town, I just wanted to say before we start, if you are here from any other video, thank you for watching. I appreciate all of your support. My channel has had around about 10,000 views in the last week, so I really appreciate it, and I just want to say thank you. I didn't expect these videos to blow up the way that they did, and I will be continuing. And I have had a lot of praise, a lot of feedback, a lot of comments, and I have had a lot of video ideas for the future. I already have around about another 27 videos lined up in the background in terms of ideas in my head, so stick with the channel if you want to see more content like this. We're going to go through every single league mechanic. I'm going to give you tips, guides. We're going to do map juicing. We're going to do content in regards to the new Affliction League. We're going to discuss all the league mechanics. We're going to talk about map progression, invitations, Searing Exile, Eater Worlds, everything like that. Tusion rolling, Gwenin rolling, Rug rolling, whatever the hell it may be, whatever you can think of that is within this game, I will do a video on it. Apart from Metamorph, as per last night, Metamorph has now been removed from the game. So that has now been, I did create some artwork for that, but last night that got deleted. So let's crack on. Obviously there will still be some elements of Metamorph within the game, i.e. the catalysts, so I may do a small video on there once I have had a play around with the new Val catalysts which have been included in the game. So crack on with Act 10. First thing you want to do when you're in Oriath Docks is you want to go up to the Cathedral Rooftops. First thing you want to do is you want to head north to this door that's right here, which is the Cathedral Apex. In here you want to help Bannon. So first of all you have to kill the monsters that are in here, and then you'll then have to kill the guy that comes down from the sky, who is Plague Wing. Once you've killed him, Bannon will then be stood in the corner over here. Just make sure that you go and speak to him, and he will ask you to go meet him back in town. Don't do that just yet. This is exactly the same as the rooftop in Act 5, but in reverse. It's a straight line. So you are heading in this direction, which is what? An easterly direction. Literally you're just heading down, 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 all the way till you hit a wall. And you will know what wall I'm on about because it's a big wall, and you'll understand. I'll show it to you when you see it. There's a lot of density in this map, by the way. Look at the state of this. You will get a lot of levels, and here is your wall. See this big wall here? Follow it all the way along, go down here, and you will see the door for the Ravaged Square. Now it's at this point that I usually advise people to go left. So go down the stairs and go left. Now some people go right. Now the reason, I'm going to explain why. The reason why I go left is because there is a skill point, and you want to make sure that you have every single skill point before you take on Katava, which is the end of Act 10's boss. So you want to have every appropriate point that you can before you go and fight her. Now the way to obviously get to this zone, as you can see on the map here, you go down the stairs, you go left, you follow the path. There's literally only one way you can go. Once you get to this little alleyway here, again with the archway here, if you remember from Act 5, I did point this out. There's like an archway here with some statues on top. Go down here and there will be a door to the control blocks. Now down here there is a waypoint, so just make sure that you can pick that up, because we're going to need it in a minute. So pick up your waypoint, and then from here it's very similar, this zone, to the control blocks that we did in Act 5. So usually I will go south until I can go left. There we go, we can go left, and again we should get to a barrier again. See the barrier here? Now we want to follow this round, because as you can imagine we're now doing this zone in reverse. So now you need to follow this down, now go north and follow it, and you want to get back to another railing like this. Again, there is a break in this fence here, so if you have a movement skill you can flame dash across that. I'm going to go around just for the purposes of this, and again you want to get back down to where you were, back down to the stairs. Again, follow this round, and as soon as you can, I would keep on going north until you hit a wall, then go left, and you will know you're going the right direction when the actual lighting starts to go bright red, like this here. Can you see the lighting here is gone bright red? This is where the Meister was. So down here, down there was where the Meister was in Act 5. You're literally heading back to this zone. So it's exactly as it was. So the Meister in exact reverse. So basically, if you think about it, the way that we did this zone was we went from the Meister directly right till we got to the barrier. Then we went from the barrier, we went up, down and around to get to the boss, which was here. All we've done is we've done that, but in reverse. It's exactly the same, and it's like that every single time. Once you get down here, you then need to take out Valencia. Now this boss is a phase boss, and they can be quite strong, so those beams can do quite a bit of damage, and he'll then take to the skies and start to throw projectile balls at you that will also do quite a bit of damage, those red balls there. He'll then also spawn a bunch of ads, kill all of those, try and avoid the balls that he throws down on the floor. He'll then come back down again for another phase like this. At this point then he will do his beams again, and he will then jump back to the skies and bombard you with balls again. He should do one more barrage and then he should drop back down again. So one more and then he should come back down now, and then you can kill him. There you go. At this point, you then exit to town via portal or login. It's entirely up to you, whichever's fastest. And you now want to take your waypoint that you had at the control blocks. Whilst you're in town, by the way, hand in your skill point just so that you have it. Then run back to your waypoint, and you want to go back to the Ravaged, not the Ravaged Square. Ignore me. What am I saying? You want to go back to. I'm gonna undo that. We want to go back to the control blocks. It's because I'm thinking one step ahead. So now you want to run back up the stairs and go back to the Ravaged Square. Now you have pretty much every skill point in the game, apart from the 2 that you will get from killing Katava. Now from here, go back the way you just came, back to the main square. If I can get through there, yeah I can. If you remember this fountain that was in Act 5, there should be a fountain in the middle of the arena. Here we go. Again, from this fountain, just head in a easterly direction or northeasterly direction. Now, you will get to an alleyway. You'll actually get to 2 alleyways. It's always the second one. So for example, I'll just show you this as an example, because some people will do this by accident. There is 2 alleyways. This is one, and there is a secondary one further down, which is this one here. It's always the second one. The first one will always get you to a dead end. Go up here, take a left, follow it round to the right, and you will then get to your waypoint. Again, it's at this point you can decide what you want to do. If you go into the Ossuary at this point, you need to do the Trial of Ascendancy. That will be the final trial of the game. If at that point you then want to go back and do your labyrinth and do your final 3rd lab to get your final ascendancy, that is entirely your decision. I usually leave the trial until after I have killed Gravacious, which is what we're going to do in a minute. So I usually leave this till right before the fight for Katava. Again, it's completely personal preference. With the Ossuary, I'm not going to navigate this entire zone because the only thing that's in here is a trial, but you go in here, you go down to the bone pits, and then again I would usually head up to the top left corner. 9 times out of 10 it is usually up there. By the way, as well, just forgot, if you go in this Forbidden Archive, you will then meet Divinia, and Divinia will be in here, and she will then give you your first forbidden tome, which is for Sanctum. So if you do want to do any Sanctum content, other than the lab, that is the only thing that is in this area. There is the 2 respect points, but they're not skill points. Just bear that in mind. I am still looking for the lab. I'm going to assume that on this, there's your 2 respect points. The elixir of allure, which I don't really care about right now, and here is your lab trial. On this instance, it's on the far right. It can vary, okay, so just bear that in mind. If you do the trial, so let's say you have just done what I've just done, then take the waypoint back to the Ravaged Square, and at that point you now want to head south. So you have to go back round to the waypoint and go back to the Ravaged Square. Now, similarly as it was in Act 5, do you remember when we did that number 2? It does the exact same path but in reverse. Okay, so we want to go south, then we want to go left, then we want to go south, and then we want to go right. And it will always lead you to the door for the torched course. Again, if you watch my Act 5 video, you will remember this zone. Follow the windows all the way down until you cannot go any further. So follow the windows all the way down till we got to a door, another door. Keep following the windows until you get to a dead end like here. Then you go through one door, and then I would go south, go through another door, and then it would always curve back right and back to your windows. We get back to the Houses of Parliament room, as I like to call it. I usually cut diagonally straight through the middle, and then we would head to the left. And then a little bit south, just because the room is always in the left corner. And then at this point I would start to go north, because the room should be right here, and here we are. If you want to have a quick look at that map, that's how it is. So you would obviously go to the windows, go down through 2 doors. So go, as soon as you go through the door, as soon as you can go down, go through the next door, and the path will then lead you back round to the windows. This is the Houses of Parliament room, which actually looks like a face. Look, there's 2 eyes and a mouth. Then follow it west as much as you can, and then when you cannot go west, go south. But then as soon as you can go north, and you will then get to the Desecrated Chambers, or as we know in Act 5, the Chamber of Innocence. Again, this is a very nice zone for leveling up. So if you want to get some last minute levels before you fight Catava, again, this is a very nice zone to do it, because there is again quite a lot of blue packs, and as you can imagine, they are now a lot stronger, and they will now yield you a lot more XP than what you would have got in Act 5. Carrying on, I'm not going to literally stop at every single blue pack. So what we're going to do is we're just going to scream through this, because remember, we literally just ran along the top of the map, ran along the top. It's exactly the same layout. You just run along the top of the map, and you just kind of just keep in the northerly direction until the map starts to push you south. Once it starts to push you south, like it is right now, as you can see, I'm now coming down the map rather than going to the left of the map. It will then at some point take a right, which it is doing now, and then it will take a north, and you will then get to the room where all those magic packs are in one big room, which is in here. This is usually quite a juicy room, and you could potentially get nearly half a level in this room if you destroy all these blue packs. Then you want to go up to the Sanctum of Innocence, and you want to kill Avarius reassembled. Once you've killed him, he will then drop the Staff of Purity. It is at this point you would then go back to town and go back to the Ravaged Square. Or alternatively, if you then want to do your lab, if you want to do your labyrinth, go back to Act 3 or Act 7 and go and do your lab. It's entirely up to you when you want to do it. I'm not going to tell you when to do it. That's basically your preference, okay? I'm not going to say when is best. Personally, I like to do it before you do Catava, because it will give you that last damage spike in terms of being able to take on Catava. Sorry, one last thing I forgot to say. When you are in town after killing Avarius, make sure that you do speak to Bannon, because then he will then transform into Innocence, and he will then come here. He will then open the doorways to the canals, And this is now the final stretch to the end of Act 10. There's only 2 more zones to go through. Now, with the canals, I have an ongoing dispute with myself on this, and I always think, should I go left, should I go right? Sometimes I go left and I'm right, sometimes I go right and I'm right, and sometimes I go left and I'm wrong. So I'm gonna say go left. Let's see. How would you look at that? Literally there is usually only a one-way system within this. There isn't like 16 ways to go. It will usually navigate you in one direction. Now if you ever see any paths go up like this, they are 9 times out of 10 usually a dead end. Again, just follow it. When you get again to another split, it depends on what the area looks like. So this is going to go across a bridge in a second. There's your bridge. Again, if this is a nice big open area, as you can see, there's only one way to go, which is right. There should be another bridge up here. There's your bridge. And I'm going to assume that it's going to go left or right. Is it? Let's check. Nope, it's straight ahead. Straight ahead. Ah, we have got a left. So left, however, look, is a dead end, so it's going to be right. Now, you will know that you are getting close to the end of the zone. Right. So right here, as you can see, you can already see the door, and the zone is actually getting progressively darker. That is when you know that you are near the end of the zone. Do not go across this bridge. It's just a dead end. Okay? It's a Valside area. If you want to do the Valside area, go for it. Last area is the Feeding Trough, which is probably the most easiest and most linear map in the entire game. I could literally put my mouse here and go to sleep, apart from if there was anything in front of me, because you don't turn off this path. It's literally a straight path all the way up to the top. Right at the top there will be a crafting recipe that you will need to collect. We're nearly there. Sorry, I was blocked there. Literally, there we go. Crafting recipe will be here. Go up the stairs, speak to Sin, and then you have to take on the final stage of Catava. Now, in Catava's fight, and I'll be very surprised if I don't die here, but we'll try. He is a multi-phased boss, so you will have quite a few phases. So it is a case of you just surviving. So I've done the damage to him already, so it's now just a case of just surviving for the phase. His heart will now pop out of his chest. You then need to do the damage to the heart. Once you've done that, you do the damage to him, and that cycle will repeat, I think, 3 times. So that's 1. He'll then drop, he should drop Sin now. Yep. If I do the damage to him again now, his heart should come out. This is stage 2. Again, damage has now been done. He will now grab Innocence. Again, do the damage to him. He will then let go of Innocence. And then the final bit, then do the damage to him. And his heart will come out for 1 more time. At which point, destroy the heart, and you have then completed the campaign. Done. Now you can watch in its glorious animation of his heart exploding, and I like to zoom nicely in for this one, get nice and close for his heart exploding. Lovely. And there we are now done. Usually if you speak to Sin, he will then open up a portal to the docks. The last 2 skill points that you can then receive for the campaign is by speaking to Lani in celebration of killing Catava. When I go back to docks. we go. So now go and speak to Lani, who is usually stood here, and you will then get 2 skill points. That is now the end of the axe. Once you've done everything in the axe, what you would then advise you to do, and I'll run through this because it is still part of the campaign, go and speak to Lily and set sail from Oriath. What she will then do is she will then send you to the Karui Shores. And you wake up in a shed on the middle of a beach. You then need to follow this map west until you get to a cave which is surrounded by like dynamite. Go in the cave, go all the way down to the bottom, and you're looking for the war room, as I like to call it, where Kirak will be standing over a table of the Atlas. If you speak to Kirak, he will then provide you with your first map, or it may be your second or third map depending on your drops, and you can then run that map. Now your first map you will need to run downstairs. You do need to run it down here. I don't think I have ever managed to run it from my hideout, because it doesn't provide you with the map device until you have done it. So run the map in your map device here. I would make sure that the map is magic. So let's say this was, no, let's not say that was it. Let's just grab a random map, and I'm literally only just doing this just for quickness. I would make sure that you get your map. I would expect you not to have any chisels at this point. If you do, you would slam it on before you put this orb of transmutation on. Just right click that, left click it on, and you now have a magic map. Then all you literally do is you put it in your map device down here like that, and then just press activate, and it will then open all of your portals. It is at this point you can then run the map, and once you've completed it and you've killed the boss, come back to Kirak here, and he will then say thank you, and he will then allow you to then run the Atlas in your hideout. That, my friends, is the end of the axe. So thank you for watching. I appreciate any of you that have watched the entire series. Later on this week I'm going to be posting a video on juicing maps, which is what all this stuff is in my inventory is for, because I've been collating it for you so I can go through it on a future video. And I'm going to be posting a video probably tomorrow or maybe today, I'm not decided yet, on where every single passive skill point is in the game. So once you get to the end of the axe, this is when you would then type in /passives, and you can now see all of your passive skills and if you are missing any. So as you can see here, I have 24 passive skill points, and it has a 1, 1, 1, a 2 for the bandits, and a 2 for and a 2 for killing Katava at the end. If any of these say 0, then you will need to go back and do that quest. But what I'm going to do tomorrow is I am going to post a video which will tell you exactly where every single skill point is. It will be a very short video. It will only be around about 12 to 13 minutes, if that, and we will literally scream through acts 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm literally just going to jump straight to where the skill point is, or I will explain where the skill point is and what you need to do. I will also advise you on where all of your respect points are, so if you ever need any respect points you can do those, but those are purely optional. Some of them you actually get for completing some of the skill points, so you will get them as you progress through the axe. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching this guide of the 10 acts. It's been a joy to put together, and I appreciate all of your support and everyone that has watched this over the last week or so and followed my journey. We're going to continue. Affliction League starts in a week's time. This time next week we'll all be getting ready and getting in the queue for Affliction League, so I cannot wait. Everything that is built around it I'm going to be discussing in the next 7 days, and going into the league as well. I will also continue to discuss it and share my thoughts on what I think the league is like. Maybe I will discuss some mechanics surrounding it. I'll discuss maybe things about what ascendancies to go. There's many different things that I will talk about. So if there's any videos that you specifically want content on, I'm more than happy to review every single comment. So if you tell me that you want a video on, let's say, crafting or fossil crafting or whatever the hell it might be, tell me what it is, and if I have the knowledge, then I will then teach you on it. If not, then I will go and ask someone to teach me so I can teach you. Okay, there are one or two things that I am not very keyed up on, and I appreciate there's a lot of information, there is a lot of stuff in this game to know. So until we meet again, thank you for watching, and stay sane, Exile.